All right, so now that marinara sauce is probably 10 minutes away from being, or 5 minutes away from being done. We're going to turn it down, let it simmer. I turn the water up, and we're going to boil some pasta. When you're salting water for pasta, everyone says the same thing. When they see me cook, they say, Andrew, you use too much salt. And then they tell me later, boy, I tried that pasta recipe and it just doesn't taste like yours. I said, well, did you use enough salt? And they said, oh, I could never use that much salt. But most of it goes down the drain anyway, and pasta needs flavor. So when I'm salting pasta water, I hold the regular box of salt upside down for 3 seconds. I count 1, 2, 3. And that's about 3.5 tablespoons of salt. I always, when I make pasta, I always shake the box a little bit. Long pasta, spaghetti, capellini, spaghettini, fettuccine, any of those. I always get the broken ones down to the bottom. Take about 3/4 of it, because again, it's only a side dish. And typically, pasta in Italy is really only a side dish. We have the salted water, the capellini. It's not a bad idea to break them, especially if they're younger members of the family that are going to be eating this. Once you start spinning capellini, you could end up with a whole giant wad of it. By the way, this capellini cooks very quickly. I know there's lots of tales about how to tell when it's done, and I like it hard. Not al dente, I like it hard, what most people would consider hard. In Italy, it's normal to eat really al dente, hard on the teeth, to eat pasta that's on the hard side. The worst thing that can happen, and I'll throw it out, is that you overcook the pasta, and then it keeps cooking when you add the sauce, and you end up with the noodles that you would get in soup, like Campbell's soup or something. And to me, the texture is 50% of the dish. Pour the water out first. I let my sink drain a little bit. So that pasta's still cooking. That's why I pulled it a little early. And again, back in the pot. Now, you know what? Why don't we do this? Pasta's still cooking, so I don't want to. We'll take a colander or a ladle. We'll pour a couple of scoops of the marinara sauce. Get our cooking fork. Stir it around. Now's when you could add some butter right before that if you like, but that's not what we're up to today. This is you're only eating 3 ounces of meat and absolutely no fat or calories except for the olive oil in the marinara sauce and the pasta's carbohydrates. With a nice green salad, this is a great dish. So now, I wish you could smell this, but as you pour, the sauce is evenly distributed. Let's wipe off the sidewalk. Evenly distributed. We'll take some more of the sauce. Remember, I said we use 3/4 of this. Some more of the sauce on top. That was heavy garlic. You can smell it. And
you can see it.
Yeah. And then let's just add some flavor too. I mean, this is not only going to garnish it, but you'll see in Italy, in many dishes that you get in restaurants, they'll always finish it with fresh flat leaf or Italian parsley. Now you could also put a little grated cheese on there. So that is the dish from our family with the Byrne family pork chops. And if you need anything from Dad, I would make that and ask him when he's done. And maybe a little glass of wine, and if you need a new laptop or an iPod, or ask for it after you feed them this. I would serve the pork chops in a plate. I would add the marinara, the Capellini marinara onto the same plate, and I would sauce this. And that tomato sauce, the marinara sauce, will mix with this nice little light pork sauce. And these pork chops are tender, they're not overcooked, and they're still juicy. You know, I grew up Italian, in an Italian household, and I married into an Irish and German household, and I've learned to cook many different things and from many different backgrounds. But there's so much to learn, and I hope that we'll be getting recipes from as many different families and as many different backgrounds and heritages as we can. So please send your recipes to Uncooked TV, and we'll see you next time.